I'm going to talk about one of my favourite poems by Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo is undoubtedly the most important writer of 19th century France, or rather, he was the most important writer of 19th century France for contemporaries, a figure with absolute intellectual, political, cultural domination right the way through the century. It's hard to think of anyone quite as present in 19th century English literature, certainly amongst poets, although Tennyson, I guess, might be the most similar example. Similar also in that Tennyson has maybe slipped from popular consciousness in much the same way as Victor Hugo has for us today. Hugo was far more than just a poet. He was also a novelist, remembered of course for Notre Dame de Paris, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, as most Anglophone people know it, and Les Misérables. And he was also a very important dramatist and political figure too. The poem I'm going to talk about comes from his 1856 collection called Les Contemplations, the Contemplations. A collection which is determined by a major event in Hugo's life, the loss of his daughter Léopoldine in a drowning accident on the Seine in 1843, and in which the personal is made profoundly meaningful, but also very public, intimate, and universal at once. Quand je vous parle de vous, je vous parle de moi, Hugo says in the preface. This little poem is poem 9 of book 5 of Les Contemplations. It's called Le Mendiant, the beggar. It describes a poor man wandering in the frost and the wind, and Hugo tapping on his window. The man stops by Hugo's door, which he opens civilly, and he lets the man in. The man is tendant les mains pour l'homme et les joignant pour Dieu, holding his hands out for man and joining them for God. Je lui criai, Hugo says, venez vous réchauffer un peu. Comment vous nommez-vous? Il me dit, je me nomme le pauvre. I'm called the pauper. No one in real life would really give that answer. Or maybe they would if they were, someone, a beggar, who was known or recognized in a particular place. Je lui pris la main, André, brave homme, et je lui fis donner une jatte de lait. He gives him a bowl of milk. The old man shivers with cold. He talks to him. Let me take your coat, said Hugo. Let me spread it in front of the fire. Last part is worth reading to the end. Il s'approcha du feu, son manteau tout mangé des vers, et jadis bleu, étalé largement sur la chaude fournaise in front of the fire, piqué de mille trous par la lueur de braise, riddled with 1,000 holes by the light of the furnace, covered the hearth, and seemed like un ciel noir étoilé, a starred black sky. Et pendant qu'il séchait ce haillon désolé, d'où ruisselait la pluie et l'eau des fondrières, je songeais que cet homme était plein de prières, et je regardais sourd à ce que nous disions, sa bure, où je voyais des constellations. So the coat covers the hearth, the water from the potholes of the road drips off, and Hugo thinks that this man was full of prayers, and I watched, deaf to what we were saying, his monk's robe, sa bure, where I saw constellations. The wonderful way of this poem is to get from the very ordinary and the immediate to the cosmic and the eternal, from earth to heaven, from the hands offered to man joined in prayer and raised to the stars and the skies.